That Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Starr.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
Welcome, welcome. We are here to talk and bring some civil discourse to an otherwise discordant world. It's Monday. We've been doing this on Mondays lately. I'm not going to enable your Cliffordian.
Your love of Martin Short.
Your Cliffordian
Would you talk to me like
nonsense?
a human boy for 2 seconds? Look at me like a person.
How are you?
Oh, man, how am I? Well, let's see. Yesterday it was a year since Dad passed.
Yeah.
With the exception of my lack of pants, I'm wearing exactly what he wore on his 80th birthday.
Are you wearing no pants right now?
No pants.
You're not wearing pants right now?
Nope.
Look at me.
Let's see. I got my 100th guitar last week.
Didn't you order your 101st guitar?
I didn't order it. It showed up.
You got your 101st guitar.
Yeah, but I got my 100th.
What?
Yeah.
A moment of silence for the milestone that really went by.
Well, yeah, because I didn't expect somebody to trade with me so quickly, but I got a better deal. So, what else happened? Because you didn't see last week, I have a nice fresh do.
You do. You have
thanks
a nice,
to the
nice
wife of mine.
Kempt look.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be unkempt. I presume you can be kempt.
I'm getting a lot more action now. That's nice.
Well, now
Sorry,
that
Mom and
I'm
Dad.
not eating your beard.
Yeah.
You know, you see, but now you've learned, because in the last couple of days you've had a rogue mustache hair poking you in your own nose.
Yeah.
And now you know exactly what I have had to go through.
But see, you've been going through that for 4 years, and I've had a mustache for a lot longer. Anyway,
But I still think I won.
I got my head finally finished. It's tattooed. It's stubbled. It's fantastic. I don't know.
You're a man with a shaved head now.
Yeah, permanently. So, what about you? What's been going on with you? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. You know, doing what I can. Been a lot of babysitting the dog specifically. You know, she's had some less than ideal days, which have taken a toll on me.
I love how we ask this of each other as if we don't live in the same house.
Yeah, but you know, I mean,
how are you? I haven't seen you in like a week.
But that's just it. Is that we ask each other all the time, like, "You good? You feeling all right?
seen
You all
you
right?
since
You
the
okay?"
last
and everything.
podcast.
And we answer each other like we're 13 years old talking to our parents. We're just like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
I mean, you know, a couple of people saw John Resnick at Home Depot yesterday, and I'm pretty sure he didn't want the world to see him. Just saying. I don't know what
It's still funny though.
I don't know what the Goo Goo Dolls are doing in New Milford,
Well, only one of them is.
or what he was
No
doing.
one said the others are here.
Or what he was doing in the paint section.
Probably buying paint. Perhaps painting a house he's either buying or selling.
Maybe he was advertising a new shade of iris.
Do we have rules on this show? Should we talk about the rules on this show? I wish so badly that puns broke the rule, but they don't. We don't have a rule against
How
puns
is that a pun?
here. I
That's
guess
not a
it
pun.
wasn't
That's-
a pun.
that's
It
just-
was
that's a-
almost a play
That's
on
a
words.
goofy coincidence.
Yeah, but iris is not a color.
It is now.
It will be.
I mean,
from
that's
here
how
on
if
out.
that's how they make their money. I mean, when was the last time they had a hit? I mean, geez. I mean, I love that first album, but you know.
Yeah. You know, they were my second concert that I ever saw.
Oh man.
The Goo Goo Dolls at Irving Plaza.
It's funny because I went through a huge Goo Goo Dolls phase when I was in a black metal band. It's like they're all listening to Burzum and Emperor and shit like that, and I'm listening to that and Goo Goo Dolls and Lady Gaga.
Burzum?
Burzum.
Bosom. You know, we were at church a couple of weeks ago, and someone and a part of the gospel said bosom, and I did.
The gospel or the homily?
No, I believe it was the gospel. It said something about bosom, and I just went bosom.
Well, you're making it a point now to let me know every time you notice that when the pastor mentions sex in his homily.
He keeps doing it.
Okay.
He keeps doing it.
We wouldn't be here if not for that.
I just think that it's an interesting an interesting point to preach.
Listen, I'm sure he's just trying to make it relatable. I mean,
Yeah, and we all know about sex.
Everybody but him is having it.
Yeah.
So, he's got to... It must be very isolating.
Well, he's got his movies and his music.
I kind of wanted to... Every time he brings up something that I've never seen or heard of, it's like, maybe I should go see that movie now.
Have you never seen Searching for Bobby Fischer?
No. I've heard about it. And then what was that song that kept not Counting Crows? What was that song he was talking about 2 weeks ago?
The Righteous Brothers.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
I think he was talking about the Righteous Brothers. It was either the Righteous Brothers or the Allman Brothers, but I'm pretty sure it was the Righteous Brothers.
We should tell him about Burzum.
Bosom.
Anyway.
We have rules here. We have rules here in the bubble, this here podcast bubble, for the sake of civility. For true civil discourse. For putting the civil in civil discourse. 3 rules. No judgment, nothing personal, and please don't be a dick and or a douchebag.
By the way, Ma, our pastor, is a Yankees fan. He even wears a jersey under his cassock.
He does. He's a character, that one. I like him.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's all right. He's a bit of all right.
Enough about religion.
I want to talk about something. Because you have, I'm not going to say regularly, but...
What do you want to talk about?
Coming from
well,
you.
you always do that to
it's
me.
funny.
It's
you
like,
get to do it to me.
Yeah. There's a ball up there.
You have... Okay. Rein it in for just, for 53 more minutes, baby. You, and again, I wouldn't say regularly, but rather frequently, you will tell me when you are listening to that podcast. I don't know what the name of it is.
Should I say it?
It's the Andy podcast.
Yeah, the downtown Andy podcast.
This is the other Andy podcast.
So as a preface, somewhere in the last year and a half, whatever, I started seeing reels when scrolling of this dude in a ball cap with a goatee, super jacked, talking about stuff that spoke to me, and I'm just like, I think I might want to start following this guy. Eventually I found who it was. It's Andy Frisella. He's an entrepreneur. He does this, that, and the other thing. He's got a podcast.
Yeah.
Doesn't run ads. That's awesome. And is a really good kind of like motivational speaker without being a motivational speaker.
Now I want to talk about
it's called Real AF.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now, I want to talk about that because...
Andy Frisella.
You have sent me multiple episodes. Oh, I'm listening to this. You should give it a listen. You might find this interesting. Yeah. It's always sort of prefaced with a little blip, with a little comment from you. And it is not... I don't gravitate towards it because I feel like kind of awkward listening to it. Okay. Now today you sent me last week's episode.
Yep.
And I thought you were telling me to listen to it because you were interacted with in the episode. So I was like, oh, okay, well, let's go ahead and do this. Like when you've done the pod and you've told me like, hey, they answered my question and everything. So I was like, I felt kind of led askew.
I'm sorry. Not really, but I'm,
okay, well, I guess I'll listen to this one and everything.
Today was a rare occurrence where I had a truck with a working, charging port. So I was like, oh, I can actually listen to something
fire hazard
without my phone dying. So it's like, of all things I could listen to, it's like Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder can go fuck themselves.
Soundbite, people.
Please take that out of context. No, I've given them a break a long time ago. No, I like a lot of what he has to say, and because he's very middle of the road to me.
Well, I'm not judging his perspectives or anything like that, and I'm certainly not judging his podcast. It's a grand old podcast, and it does what I presume it sets out to do.
He's the guy I told you about who has this this program that he set up.
I know.
And I obviously you haven't seen me try it, but it's not like I haven't thought about it. But it's like he's captivating because of the fact that he's so intense and so intent on if you want to achieve your goals, you have to be steadfast. You have to, you know, commit. You can't half-ass shit. And, you know, that speaks to me because it's like, okay, this guy knows what he wants and knows how to get it.
Now, I am not about to criticize any gentleman for the way that they, you know, the way that they go about preaching. Preaching's not the right word, but, you know, like the, you know, proclaiming their message and stuff like that. That is not my, that is not where my grievance lies. And I don't necessarily have a grievance with, I don't know enough about this man or his life or his business or his podcast for that matter to critique him. That's not what I'm here to do. Okay. What happened today was you sent me this particular episode and I listened to it thinking I was going to have something to do with you. And I'm like, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I ended up listening to most of it because I'm waiting for it to have something to do with you.
You could have just asked.
That's when I did. And you were like, and I was just like, oh, this isn't about you.
Yeah, no, he and I talked and I was just like, you know, it's been a while. I think I should listen to him today.
Cool. Yeah. But it sort of, it rang with me because he is very, and I'm sure that this rings true with a lot of the things that he says. Now I could be wrong. I could be wrong now.
But I don't think so.
But you know, and I'm not here to talk out of school, but the way that he sort of addresses the I don't want to call it the lack of motivation, because it doesn't seem like a lack of motivation that he's addressing in people. It seems to be sort of like a drive. And a very intense drive. And a very intense drive to instill that drive in other people.
He's very proud of his accomplishments.
As we all
also,
should be.
like, from what I gather from listening to him for as long as I have, it's like, if you think that you've achieved your goals, you're not striving hard enough. Like, you're not aiming for more. Like, you need to be aiming for more. Like, so his podcast is separated into like 3 different categories. We're by the way, we're not a sponsor of this podcast,
so this is not. This is not a testimonial.
But this is why, you know, whenever an episode strikes me, I think like there are people other than me who could benefit from this and probably should listen. And if they don't listen, like I did my due diligence. He says, "Don't be a hoe, share the show."
But let me ask you. I
didn't get to finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So. Certain episodes, which are very rare, he gets people to come on who's completed his program and talk about it. That doesn't happen very often. 99% of the time, it's either news of the day or him answering fan questions. And that's what today was. And that's what last week was. I stopped with the news of the day because I'm tired of hearing about that shit. Okay, if something happens, then I'll browse. But a lot of times, I like listening to him talk about, you know, his philosophy on how you get to where you want to go. And yeah, I think it can be a little, you know, a little much when it comes to the intensity, you know, and being so like you need to strive for more. If you think you're doing good enough, that's not enough. You need to keep going, you know. I'm blanking on the word for that, but
overbearing.
I was going to say that, but you know, again, I wanted to be sure of there was the right word for the situation.
Now my beef, for lack of a better word.
Oh, there's beef.
My beef has nothing to do with this podcast. Okay. I want to ask you, because now it's been introduced. I want to ask you as a fan of the things that this man has to say. Do you agree? Do you agree that achieving your goals means you didn't reach high enough? Because you, and I love you, I'm your wife, and I know you and love you and adore you, but you have always said to me that, you know, when you don't have anything left to chase, what else is there?
So I periodically try to think to myself, especially when I'm listening to the podcast, like, what would he say if I were to call in or write in and be like, tell him my story. Not that I would ever, that would ever happen, but it's just like, I imagine he would probably tell me I should be aiming higher, because I can confidently say here and now, like, I have all but one thing that I want. All but one. Okay? Possession-wise, I have everything. Money, we're doing just fine. Health-wise, we're okay. But
we're here.
As far as like I'm making the most money I've ever made. I have the best schedule right now. We get to do this. We get to do. We're planning a vacation.
Yeah.
But the one thing that's eluded me is my desire to make a career in music. Mm-hmm. I've seen other people do it. I don't need to make $1 million, but it is something I would love to be able to sustain with and do every single day instead of, going to a 9 to 5, because that's what I'm passionate about. I see plenty of other people who are making careers out of the things that they're passionate about. They may not make $1 million. Some of them do make $1 million. Who the hell, that's not the goal. But, I think to myself, like, if he were listening to me say this, he'd probably be like, why can't you make $1 million? Why aren't you aiming for that? Shouldn't you be? Like, don't you know your worth? Like,
does that come off to you as a little judgy?
No, not at all.
Really?
I mean, when I look at what he's done for himself and the hurdles that he's overcome, it's just like, it makes me think about, what I've gone through to get to where I am right now. Like, where I am now is not where I was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Like, I've worked really, really hard, despite what any people may think.
But regardless of whether or not things like this are said by someone as successful as him or someone who just believes that, good enough is never good enough. That's what the enough is.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you heard him say the part about how he goes to work 7 days a week. Like, he to him, his job is not work. Like, he loves constantly having things to do and being involved in projects and meeting with people and, helping people advance their own careers and lives and this and that and the other thing. And it's just like, you and I have talked before about how I have a hard time sitting still because I love being involved in building things and contributing to things and constantly, having something to keep my attention and keep me focused. And how I hate being interrupted when I'm in the middle of something, because it's like, if I'm on a roll, like, I don't want to be stopped.
Right.
I hate to have to get up to interrupt whatever it is that I'm in the process of doing. And at this point in my life, I think I'd probably do well to be around more people that are similar, because it's like, okay, everybody that I've been used to up until this point isn't like me. They're not that driven. They don't have those same sorts of goals. They don't want to work that hard. They don't want to put that much effort in. And that's been a cause for my frustration, as you've been witness to.
Right.
And it's like, well, why am I going to continue allowing myself to be around people I don't, who don't, I feel don't appreciate me and my work ethic, and whose, ethic of their own that I don't really jive with.
Now, this point of yours, that exact point of yours, is exactly what I want to talk about. Okay? I'm not here to talk about real AF or anything like that. That's not my point. My point is exactly what you just talked about. And it reminds me of a Facebook post that I made maybe 10 years ago? Maybe more? I truly don't remember when I did this. But it was about... I don't want to say it was about coexistence, because that makes it sound very... But I listened to what Andy said and what Andy's saying, okay? And I listened to that, and I hear you, okay? Now, I don't necessarily jive with it. That's there's
fine.
Nothing wrong with that, and I'm not
that.
suggesting that either of you Andys would say that
we're coming at you in stereo.
There's something wrong, with what I think and everything like that. But he made a point, and this is the last thing I'm going to bring up about it, is he made a point in this particular episode that you had me listen to. He made a point of saying, and I don't know if he says it regularly, but he made a point of saying that, if you live without a purpose, then I don't know exactly how he said it, and I don't want to fuck up his words or anything, but
give us the gist
the
of
idea that, like, if you don't have a purpose, your life is going nowhere, kind of a thing. It's the idea that we talked about with retirement, because he had mentioned retirement, and that your idea is that you're gonna work for a while, make your money, and then lie on a beach for the rest of your life. And it's just like, that's not your purpose. You need to live out your purpose. And my brain sort of half checked out at that point, because then I went off on this whole tangent mentally.
But aren't you living out your purpose?
Yes.
It sure seems to me like you are.
Hold, please. Save your critiques for after I get my point across.
That was not a critique. I'll give you a critique.
We've talked about the idea of retirement, and that, certain people are bound to, quote unquote, get bored because they have, quote unquote, nothing to do. But that's not living without a purpose, is just it. The idea that, like, what if your purpose, hypothetically, what if your purpose is to raise a family? That's why you were put here. That's all you've ever wanted. All you've ever wanted is to raise a family, right? You have your kids. You raise them up. Then what? Like, have you run out of purpose at that point?
There's no reason that you can't have more than one purpose. There's no reason that you can't find other things to do. There's no reason that you can't, like you and I have gone to great lengths in talking about, this person I'm no longer friends with, who always insisted that I needed to live my life like him.
Right.
I needed to aspire to his goals and his financial stability, and I needed to follow his every instruction.
And live across the street from him. Don't forget that.
And I repeatedly had to tell, even without your influence, had to tell him, like, no, I'm happy. I have secured my own happiness without your influence, okay? I collect guitars. He doesn't, okay? I owned this home long before he ever owned a home. I secured my career before he secured his. Like, it's... He was the most intense of my peers that really kind of tried to drive it in, like, you need to do what I'm saying because I'm making more money than you and I know better.
And the irony was that you actually were living exactly how he told you to be living, just not on the grand scale that he believed you should have been striving for.
I don't think I was living the way he was telling me to live.
I mean, as far as career, home, that kind of thing and everything.
Like, you
already had those things.
He was always saying, don't get another pet. They cost too much. You're not going to be able to save it. Like, I'm like, you have no idea what I spend and what I save. You have no idea how I am with money. Like, we would periodically talk about, my ability to make purchases from, wheeling and dealing and sales and shit like that. Like, I know what I'm doing. I've always known. Well, I mean,
You figured it out.
I figured things out because there were things that I wanted to do. So it's like, okay, I know what my goals are. How do I get there? Okay? And even before I started listening to Andy Frisella, like, I always had that drive. Maybe not to the degree that he's had, but I've had the drive to be like, okay, I know what it's going to take to make sure that my bills are paid, so I know what I have to do. I know what it's going to take to purchase that expensive guitar, so what do I have to do?
Right.
How many extra hours do I have to work? What kind of money do I have to move around? What do I have to sell? Where can I get it the cheapest, sort of thing? Like, and when it comes down to it, is that my desires were never the same as everybody else, nor should they be.
Right.
Like, I've told you the story before about this customer I used to have who criticized me for, quote unquote, living within my means. When I was working for Dad and John, he's just like, when are you going to get out from under Mommy and Daddy's money? It's just like, this is just a job right now. I mean, it doesn't have to be a career, but it's like, I'm content. I was content then. I'm content now. Like, when it's like I constantly tell you, if I sell something that I wanted, like if I want another one, I'll get another one. And I've proven that.
Yes, you have.
100.
And one.
No, 100. I've bought back some certain guitars, but anyway, but that, I know what it takes for me to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't speak for anybody else, but I also, hear from plenty of people very frequently who don't seem to be very happy, who complain certainly way more than I do about their lives and about their lots and their,
Complaining about their own lives?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every single day when I go into the office, somebody's complaining about the load that we have. It's like, how about you just be happy that you have a job? How about you just be happy that you have lungs and, breath in your lungs? I was about to say, have lungs in your air.
Have lungs in the air. Look, there they go.
It's like, be happy that you have a job to come to and that you have a paycheck and that you have a roof over your head and clothes on your back and food in your stomach. Like, there are people who don't even have that. Like I have grown to become way, way more grateful than I ever thought was possible.
Gratitude is important. Gratitude is very important. And now with regard to, I mentioned that Facebook post that I posted 1,000,000 years ago. I have lived, with very hands-off. You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just stretching the face.
I've lived a very hands-off life with regards to the way other people live. By that I mean that regardless of how I feel about specific people or people in general, I am not one to criticize or judge someone for either choosing or being saddled with the choices to live a certain way. I find it odd that so many people judge back, though. Now, these were some of the things that I pointed out in that Facebook post 1,000,000 years ago, was that I do not care if another human being does or does not have tattoos. I don't care. I don't care that they don't have any tattoos, let's say. Yeah, okay? But someone cares that I do.
Yeah.
I don't care if someone doesn't believe in God. I don't care. But somewhere, someone cares that I do. And this is just it. When I hear talk about, that like, if you believe that you've achieved your goals, you didn't set yourself high, you didn't set your bar high enough, is like, that feels very judgy to me. Because it's like, what makes you think that I'm not happy? I mean, because shouldn't success be measured in happiness?
It should, and that's something that Andy has said. Like, the thought has crossed my mind when listening to him. It's like, should I be aspiring for more? Should I be, like, I certainly could be. Do I want it? Like, this friend of mine that we went to go visit over the weekend, he and I were talking on the phone before we went to see him. And I was, explaining my woes to him, and he's just like, take advantage of all the overtime you can now. And he makes a valid point in the sense that, what we think is enough to take care of ourselves now is not going to be enough in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years because of inflation and all the other shit and whatnot. And I believe him because I've watched, I've watched prices of everything go up in just the last 10 years. I've listened to my parents and cousins and whoever complain about, the cost of everything going up, and especially when it comes to healthcare. I mean, who knows what it's going to take to keep us breathing. I can tell you
all about the price of healthcare.
But the thing is that I told him, I was like, I'm comfortable, But why? The reason I say he makes a valid point is because, I'm comfortable. I understand his point and anybody else's point who would say, yeah, you're comfortable now, but what about 10 years down the line? What about 20 years down the line? Now, it's not like we don't have, security measures in place to make sure that we're taken care of. We do.
Right.
That's none of your fucking business. You people, not my wife. She knows all about it.
I do.
But, I have always been one of the bigger proponents of planning ahead because it's been drilled into me from birth, from my parents, from my brothers,
right.
make sure you're always prepared. Plan ahead. Make sure you're thinking about down the line. I know so many people who don't. That never even crosses their mind. They're not thinking about their career path. They're not thinking about their kids' health. They're not thinking about their kids' futures, their own futures, whatever it is. Like, I was thinking about both boys' college, when they were in diapers.
Yeah.
And I don't care who criticizes me for something like that. It's like, I know what it takes to make me content. And when I want to work for overtime, sure, I'll do it. But right now, I'm totally fine,
But we have, and I say we, the royal we have sort of evolved, unfortunately, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, but unfortunately evolved into this mindset of hustle till you die. And there are some people who
There's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people, but there are some people who will say, well, I'm the type of person who will work until I die. Now, that could be for multiple reasons. It could be because they love what they do, and they'll do it until they can't do it anymore.
Took the words right out of my brain.
But then there's the other side of that, where people are like, I will never have enough. I told you, my ex-boyfriend literally told me that we will never be okay unless he's making at least 6 figures.
See, now
and I'm just like, you must be joking me. I'm like, what kind of fucking life do you need to be living?
See, now you have met the 2 friends of mine who are making infinitely more money than I am.
Yeah.
And you've been around them long enough to...
Miserable people.
Exactly.
It's absolutely miserable
Absolutely
people.
miserable. So I'm making far less money than both of them and infinitely happier.
And raising a family on it.
And raising a family. See, that's the other thing, too, is that everybody seems to think that these people in particular think they don't have enough money for their bills, their expenses, their wants, their desire. Like, all these things, they think that they're still, coming up short. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm making far less than you, and I'm taking care of, 2 kids, essentially 2 women.
Hey.
Well, she's getting most of my money every month anyway. 2 pets,
Yeah.
the house, the bills, and you don't see me complaining.
And you're not killing yourself to do it.
No.
You work hard. You work long days, and you put in a lot of effort to earn your money, and you've earned yourself the right to say you work hard for your money.
And my hustle,
like Gloria said,
my hustle is not, it's not out of necessity.
Right.
It's purely voluntary because, I know plenty of people who have got hustle, and usually that means if they're doing it, along those lines, it means that they're trying to screw people as best they can so they can get the, garner the most return. I learned a long time ago, and we've talked about this. If I sell this for this much, I can put that towards this thing that I want. And then if I want something else down the line, I could sell that middle thing and keep one hand washing the other. And people would always criticize me for that. How could you do it if something you really wanted? It's like, because over the last 10, 15 years, I've learned the value of moving assets around in certain ways to accomplish certain goals.
Right.
I've had to sell gear that I really wanted to keep to pay bills, medical bills, mortgage, insurance, whatever. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Not that I want to, but it's like, okay, well, I know that if I sell this, I can get this much money for it, and then I can take this much and keep it and put it towards the bill, give it to you, give it to, take care of vet bills or whatever the fuck it is. It's just but I have managed to do it precisely and do it responsibly. Whereas I know plenty of my peers who are in the hole and have been in the hole for a long time and don't ever seem to be interested in getting out of the hole. They just like to keep running up that, credit card debt and
But what does it say to you? What does it say about people who, cannot allow you to just live contentedly?
Anytime I've come across a formula that works, works for me, something that I've stumbled on and cultivated over years, the way that I do with gear, I have used those models and presented them to people that I think could benefit from them. Usually in the music scene. Like if I have a friend who really wants something, but they know they can't afford it, they know they shouldn't spend the money on it or charge it to a credit card. I'm like, listen, well, if you do this, I mean, I did it, like you do it this way. Or like the example I always use is returning gear. Because back in 2015, my main amp was in the shop getting repairs, and we had a 3-day weekend to play. We were doing New Milford, we were doing Staten Island, we were doing I think Wallingford, and I don't like asking friends for favors. I don't like borrowing stuff. I like to be self-sufficient. And I thought to myself, I'm like, because I've done this before. It's like I went to the store. I'm like, I could just buy an amp and then return it on Monday. And that's exactly what I did. I went in, I found a relatively inexpensive, decent, amplifier.
You're not buying like $4,000 worth of gear and then returning it.
It was a small 112 combo, and it's there's videos of it on YouTube. It's me wearing your clothes.
Yeah.
It is. That's
I know. I was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
Where my underwear is hanging out through my shorts. And I used it that whole weekend, and then Monday I returned it, and the people at the store didn't give a shit. They're just like, that's what we have a corporate policy for. And I've told people to do that, over and over and over again. If you're in a pinch, like it's not something I do all the time. Yeah. It's just like if you really need gear, go fucking do that.
And you're not gonna do it with everything. Like you're not gonna like buy like like a $400 like miter saw and then return it after you use it. Like you're not gonna do that. You're not, right?
Every time an ex moved out of here, I went to Walmart, bought a new set of locks and doorknobs, replaced it, returned the previous ones, okay? And then when somebody else moved out, I went back and bought back the first ones because they were still on the shelves, returned the second ones. Just constantly kept like they're still usable. I just don't want people having access to my house.
Right. Like I wouldn't like wear a dress and then return it. That's a little shitty to me.
But the other thing too, like especially while we're talking about gear, I would say to guys, I'm like, listen, every corporate store has a return policy. If you end up deciding that you don't like what you end up buying, you can return it 100% money back guarantee.
Yeah.
You have 30, 60, 90 days, whatever it is. It's like, and it took years for friends of mine to become comfortable with that. Very few of them ever put that into practice, but some of them did. And they're like, you were absolutely right. I'm like, I know I was right because I fucking did it.
It's just so crazy to me to think that so many people are determined to be as vocal as they are about the way that other people are determined to live their life. And that includes all walks.
See,
all walks.
I've never insisted or implied that anybody should live their life the way I do, but it's when I come across something I've done that has proven to work and benefit me, I tell somebody thinking that maybe they could take advantage of it as well. But all I've learned from that is that I've let out secrets that I probably shouldn't have.
Because, oh yeah.
Well, in my mind,
divulging secrets.
Yeah, what do they call them? Business. Trade secrets.
Trade secrets.
That's what it is. But it's just like I like the way I live. I like what I do. I like how I do it. I don't screw people over. I don't fucking, abuse anybody or anything. It's just that I know what works for me, and I've passed that along to other people. And if they don't want to take any of my advice, that's fine. I'm not going to hold it against them, But don't turn around and tell me that I'm wrong for living the way I live just because you don't like it.
That is my point. That is my point. And little things will set me off about that because I really don't care. And it sounds cold and it sounds crass and everything. And I know I've been told that for decades now, but I truly do not care how other people live.
Like right now, I'm still bandless. And I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what my last two bands are doing or thinking or saying, whatever, because every day I think like I don't have to deal with any more fucking headaches. Yeah. All of the things that bothered me
Not
about
right now, anyway.
Both those groups of people, my grievance with their lack of motivation, their lack of desire to improve or to aim for higher things. It's like I got tired of beating a dead horse,
Yeah.
And I'm getting tired of beating more dead horses when it comes to my job and other facets of life because I can't, like, through conversations with you, I've learned I can't get people to do what I want them to do. Like you can't force anybody, anything on anybody.
Nope.
And I found myself passing that along to coworkers because I've watched coworkers get mad at other coworkers because of their lack of drive, their lack of motivation, their laziness, their complacency. And I've watched it build up and seen them explode. And I tell them the things that you end up telling me. It's like, you're only hurting yourself in doing that. Yeah. You're only making it worse for yourself and frustrating yourself, and you don't need that shit.
There are much more pleasant things to focus on. That's where gratitude comes in. Gratitude.
Oh, I thought you said ratitude.
Gratitude. Don't give me that attitude. Gratitude. Maybe that's
Breaking
what we should
rad.
Gratitude. Ratitudinal. That's too far.
Radatouille.
Radatouille.
I feel like I should be asking you more questions about this.
Do you have questions for me?
Do you have a kiss for daddy?
Are you kidding?
So that's how it is in their family.
I truly I think about all of the things that we are supposed to care about as people these days. And it's not just how we live our lives and everything. We're supposed to care about everybody else. We're supposed to care about everybody else's beliefs and ideals and ideologies and everything. And we're supposed to care about them so much. But no one, and I really don't care. I don't care how, and I said this to my mother the other day when we all went out to lunch. I don't think you guys heard me, but we were talking about certain personal things and about certain personal people, and I am not going to blow them up, but I did say the words "I don't care" came out of my mouth because I don't.
In regards to somebody that your mother brought up.
In regards to somebody that my mother brought up, yes. Okay. I don't care because it does not affect me in the slightest. Just the same way that I don't care what someone's sexuality is. I don't care. Why am I supposed to care about that? The only sexuality that I care about is the one that I am going after. Like
Which one are you going after?
Yours. I cared whether or not you were interested in me. I don't care if other people are interested in other people for whatever reason, because it doesn't affect me. And I don't care about that, but I get judged for not caring.
Full disclosure, you were aiming higher for me.
Wow.
It's true. No, because all that time leading up to us actually reconnecting, I was just like, she's way out of my league. Way out of my, like, that is never going to happen. So just, play it cool. Just, stay in keep yourself in the friend zone because she ain't going for you.
And then I fucking punted you out of it. I'm just like, fuck friends. But
we're not talking about you, Phoebe.
I truly, there are things that I absolutely do not care about. And I know that it bothers people. I've been told by many an ex-boyfriend that I am too apathetic. I'm too apathetic. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
I wouldn't call you that at all.
I truly don't allow other people's lives to affect me unless I want to. I allow your life to affect me. Because you and I share a life. We sort of riff off each other.
I mean, I've said this before, I firmly believe everybody's afraid of rejection. And there's been a lot of things that I've wanted to do that I've either entirely refrained from, not entirely, but mostly refrained from, or at least put off on, following through because I'm like, this person's going to say no. I'm going to get told no. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen the way I want it to happen, And more often than not, when I find myself just pushing through and going for it anyway, it's just like, okay, if I don't get what I want out of this, then, I try again another time, or it's like, okay, try a different way. But then there's always that percentage that I'm going to get exactly what I want. Mm-hmm. And again, more often than not, I find myself thinking about it later on and being like, that was really dumb to put it off for as long as you did.
The same thing could be said of your previous musical history and everything. You know, this whole idea of like, you know, why should we go for a show that, oh no, people won't come, and this, that, and blah, 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 and all of these fucking excuses from people saying, basically coming up with why you shouldn't do a show or take a show or be on a bill. And it's just like, just fucking do it. It's like, who cares? I'm not saying you did it.
Are you defending them now?
No, I'm defending you.
Because I was the one who didn't want to do it.
No, I'm not defending that. I'm saying that, you know, like, there were so many shows that you were like, hey, we could get on this show. And they would be like, no.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why? It's like, why shouldn't you go talk to the owners of this bar? It's like, because we're going to alienate them.
Because both bands
like,
wanted to stay in the DIY underground scene and ironically not be seen and not be heard by masses of people, you know, larger masses, because it's just like, there's nothing wrong with success. Like, my goal was always to play to the most people, the most amount of times. Like, I've said it a lot. I've achieved my goals. Mm-hmm. Like, my goal was always to just perform and to tour and to travel and to, you know, meet other bands and play new venues and play bigger stages in front of bigger crowds. And after I had done that all at least once, the goal just became do it more, because that's what's fun for me. That's what's enjoyable. And so to continue aiming for that is me aiming higher, is setting the bar to a point where it's like, you know, it's insurmountable odds. But if I stop, that's the only guarantee that it'll never happen. And so that's where I line up with somebody like Andy, because it's like, okay, you know, he has his goals, his business, his whatever, right, you know, and I may not necessarily do or say things exactly the way he does. I don't have to. But again, I know what I want and I know how to get there. I just haven't been able to do it with the people I've been involved with up to this point. And it makes, you know, every bit of sense as to why when you look at them.
It's so stupid to hear people, you know, who are trying to make music a thing, and they're just so hell bent on this idea that, you know, success is selling out. And it's just like, I hate to break it to you, but there are a whole lot of sellouts out there who are glad that they sold out. Let me tell you something. You want to stay a DIY band? I wanted to stay a size 4. Okay? Shit happens.
You mean you couldn't be a size 4 if you wanted?
I can be a size 4 if I want. It's just taking a lot longer than I want it to. But I'm going for it.
You know, we wanted to join a gym. What did? We went and joined a gym.
Yeah.
And we kept going. You know, we wanted to eat better, started eating better, started buying the right food. You know, we wanted a cat. You kidnapped one.
I didn't kidnap her. I sprang her from the clink.
After she knocked over your statue. This was all about revenge.
And in the end,
In
the end, I will win.
Now she's the cat napper because she's
probably napping right now.
Yep,
yeah,
she is out cold.
Good.
Both of them are.
Good. Proud of them. I've always had, I mean, you know me, my biggest pet peeve. It's not even a pet peeve, it's just a peeve. My biggest peeve is hypocrisy.
I mean,
is people not owning their hypocrisy. And
mine too.
when you insist on judging the lives of other people, but you refuse to allow them to judge you, it's like,
it's because not everyone is built the same. Not everyone is created equally. You know, it's really a matter of, you know, I reserve judgment for the people that I know are letting me down or doing me a disservice.
Okay.
You heard me complain earlier about these fucks at work who refuse to flush the goddamn toilet. That is just common fucking decency.
Decency, yes.
Like, I shouldn't have had to say that more than once.
No.
But I've had to say it for months because people can't do something that is so that takes no fucking mental acuity whatsoever. Like, you just fucking flush the goddamn toilet for sanitary means.
At long last, sir, have you no decency? That's what you do, and then slap them with a glove, right across the face.
Or if I have to go back to a coworker repeatedly for the same thing, like today, fucking I had found the dog's medication and my pay stub in a neighbor's box. Like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Like, that is what my judgment is reserved for, because if you have to tell somebody more than once, more than twice, more than a couple of times not to do something that they should know to be wrong, that's when they should feel embarrassed about what they're doing. That's when they should be made to be embarrassed, because there's nothing to be proud of with that.
Now, I do not believe that I am a judgmental person. I truly don't believe that I judge people. I have opinions. I have absolute opinions about certain things, and I think, I disagree with people. I dislike certain things and everything like that.
As we all do.
But I don't believe that I judge people. So to feel judged sort of hits me in a weird spot, because it's sort of like, I don't understand why you're doing that when you don't have to.
I've been judged my entire life by friends, family, employers, parents,
Same.
It rolls. Now I'm at the point in life where it just rolls off me. Because
you have to get to that point.
Because I've watched my parents roll off judgment, because they always believed in what they were saying and what they were doing, especially when it came to bringing us up.
Yep.
Because they had to, because there's this old world mentality how you can't make yourself appear questionable to anybody. You always have to look like this old world mentality of older people where it's like they need the perception to be out there that they're always right, always sure of themselves, always certain. Like I wrote about this in my, obituary for Dad. Like he said, he flat out just said, he's like, I'm always right. I know everything. Now we all know that not to be true, but in those moments, like he had to purport that in order to get people, particularly me, to believe in him, to believe in his
authority.
Not just his authority, but his certainty.
Right.
And a lot of things he was right about. But, he was always quiet when I called him out on his own bullshit.
As most people in that situation will be.
But which was very, very rare, because he was, in fact, a very smart man and taught me a great many things that, benefit me to this day. That's where I get it from. It's when he knew that something that he knew was going to help me, he was not going to keep it to himself.
But did you always take it?
Far less than I should have. Okay.
Oh, see.
Far less. No. There's nothing wrong with that, because again, there's been plenty of times where I think to myself, oh man, I should have listened to my old man, or I should have listened to my friend that knew better than me. Like I've said this on this podcast a million times. Like I am the first to appreciate being told, being pointed out when I'm wrong, when I've made a mistake, so I can correct it, and that way it doesn't happen again. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm in search of. Like I want to make sure that I'm not doing the same fuck up over and over and over and over again. Because if I have to go and teach that lesson to, say, my kids or somebody else, I don't want to be passing along bad information.
Right.
So if somebody is going to help me along my path to getting to the right information, the right mindset, the right whatever, I'm not going to feel judged in the sense that I feel like somebody's attacking me. Even though I know plenty of people who think that by, my calling out their,
nonsense.
Not sure, for lack of a better word, that they think that I'm attacking. I don't attack people. First of all, I don't attack my friends, or I don't attack people that I believe to be my friend. Mm-hmm. Okay. I attack people who I know have no interest whatsoever in my well-being. Okay. And that's in self-defense. Okay, I don't go out of my way to criticize or insult or whatever, but it's like if you do something that is going to, like, the big thing at the office is they always talk about hostile work environment. You can't say that it creates a hostile work environment. You can't do that. You can't call this person out by name on the floor because it's creating a hostile work environment. I'm like, what about the things they're doing that are pissing me off? Is me being pissed off not already being engaged in a hostile work environment?
Especially when they do it just to poke at you.
Like, I remember when one summer I'm trying to wear a tank top around the office because it's fucking hot. Customers can't see us, and the boss is like, you can't wear that. Why? Because the women aren't allowed to. Why aren't the women allowed to?
Yeah, just let the women do it.
We can't. It's not appropriate. I'm like, so their comfort is more or less important than mine? Oh, that's a good point. I don't know. I guess we'll have to look into that. It's like, how about you just leave me the fuck alone, and then when I go out to the road, I'll put my blue shirt on over, and then we'll all be Happy Gilmore.
I had an argument about that when I was at the dispensary, and I would reach on a high shelf, and my shirt would lift up a little bit, and you could almost see my belly button. Oh, and I got yelled at. Because midriffs are not allowed. I'm like, I work in a goddamn basement. I'm like, no one fucking sees me.
I think you should poll 100 random people and find out how many would actually prefer to see some midriff.
How many people are really
offended by it?
Hello out there in podcast land. It's me, JJ Star. How many of you are offended by the midriff? Oh,
I'm sure Alex Trebek loved a good midriff. I know I do.
He probably did. Oh, man. But that's just it. Is that...
I still don't understand the backwards bikini, but whatever. It's just one for another day.
That's one for another day. I will not judge.
Upside down, excuse me.
I will not judge others, but I will not be judged by others. I will not tolerate.
Oh, you'll be judged, but
I will not tolerate being judged by it, and I hate to break it to you, but your judgment rolls off me like water off a duck's back.
Because it's like you said, you have no control over what people say.
Exactly.
Whether it's right or wrong.
That's just it. The worry is not there. The worry is not there.
So who judged you?
Oh, people judge me all the time. Same way people judge you.
Oh.
I'm just saying that, when you set out to do something, you set out to achieve something, you achieve it, you work for it, you live your life contentedly and proudly and quietly even. Heaven forbid you live peacefully and quietly to the ripe old age of 140 and then, and then you roll over and you move on.
Listen.
It's like, no, don't let anybody judge you for that.
People think that I'm naive. People think that I'm a downright asshole. That bothers me for all of 2 seconds, and then I'm like, you know what? I have every guitar I could ever possibly fucking want. I may not have a fucking Bugatti or a Ferrari or whatever the fuck.
And?
I have a wife that I can...
And you can have sex whenever you want. I told you, anytime somebody tells you that they have something really cool, you be sure to tell them, yes, but I can have sex whenever I want.
Your parents are listening
End
to
of
this.
meeting. End of meeting.
Okay.
I'm in my 40s. I hate to break it to you. My parents have had sex.
Yeah, I'm aware, but it's just like, if the kids start a podcast one day and they start talking about this kind of stuff, do I really want to listen to it?
I'm sorry, didn't your oldest ask you to buy like a dildo or something like that at some point?
He didn't ask me to buy a dildo.
No?
I'm not getting into this one. I'm not
no
throwing
judgment,
anybody...
no judgment, no judgment,
Yeah.
no judgment, no judgment.
For all he know, I know he could be throwing it in a Christmas stocking to throw at somebody like it was done to me.
In a Christmas
That
stocking.
was how this person, welcomed new guests to his home. He's like, big black double-sided dildo in a Christmas stocking. Here you go, I got your present. I just met you. Well, what the fuck is this?
As long as it wasn't used.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
Both sides in his butt.
At the same time?
He was a big man.
So he'd have to be. Well, okay. Those are my thoughts. Do you have closing thoughts on this topic?
Just get me a fucking ice cream, please.
Oh, ice cream sounds good. Let's call it here then. Thank you out there in podcast land for tuning in. We had a blast. This was a good talk. This was a couple of good talks, I think. But yes, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to everyone worldwide who have been supporting us. We have been blowing up lately, so thank you. Please find us on Instagram, DTAndy and JJ Star with 2 R's. Email us, DTAndy and JJ Star @gmail.com with any questions, comments, concerns for our well-being, conversation starters and enders. And let us know if you would like to be a part of the conversation at some point. We would love to set that up and get that rolling. You can also find Love Hard Art and Coat of Arms Tattoo on Instagram. There was something else. There was something else.
Nashville?
No. We'll deal with that later. Fair. All right. Well, if I remember it, we'll move on. Podbean. That's it. Podbean. That's a big deal, actually.
It's a very
yes,
big deal.
Podbean. Podbean. Download it. Give us a like and a follow. Share it with people. That's how we make our money. We appreciate you. Thank you out there.
I'm thinking about getting into Twitch. If anybody has any suggestions or
Yeah.
Downtown Andy.
Downtown Andy. I'm pretty sure my Twitch is still active, but I've never used it. Maybe I'll start doing that.
I don't know what to do on it. I don't know how long to do it for. I don't know. I know nothing about it. So help me out here.
We'll figure it out together.
Again, like I have said a million times, like if I could make the salary I'm making now just doing music related things, like I would trade it for in a heartbeat.
Yeah. But
it's out there. It's just like this is not the spot for me to be in. I'm not in the right
this place right here.
This state.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I'm like, but we love you here.
Yeah, no. I need to play with more serious people.
Well, serious people, get at the man. You can find him on Instagram, downtown_Andy, and you can find me, Jess Starable, and we're both out there. And that's that. Ice cream. Ice cream. That is a full lid from the four of us at That Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Star.
Woo! Four horsemen. I'm not Ric Flair. I'm Downtown Andy.
And we'll talk to you later.